best conditioned, most professional, unselfish, toughest, nastiest, disliked team in the NBA. We didn't care about it. That was our identity, and that's who we were.
We ain't playing with, this is New York. Guess what these niggas.
What I love is, historically, when you think about New York, the reputation for the longest time has been New York is filled with cutthroats, charlatans, fast talkers. New York is the fastest city in the world. It has so many people, it's so busy. People who are not from New York, let's say Midwesterners, excuse me, or Southerners, will always say, you know, the fast pace of New York is overwhelming, okay? But when you think in terms of the business world, when you think of New York, you think of shrewd negotiators. You know, people would be intimidated to go into a negotiating process with New Yorkers because they feel as if they're going to find some way to pull the wool from under your feet, and you think you have a good deal. You walk away thinking you made out good, and then when you think about it later on, you didn't. All right? For Leon Rose to walk away from the table, I love that, because had he went through and got the deal done, it would have almost been, depending on what that package would have been, you know, the reality could have been that we would have walked away with the short end of the stick. That would have been the reality. And then that reputation that anybody can pull the wool over the eyes of the New York Knicks, like the Andrea Bargnani deal, okay? Or the Chicago deal with Eddie Curry. All right? People were waiting for the New York Knicks to cave in and take what's there, because people were depending on the desperation of New York to say, we need this star. And when it didn't happen and Leon Rose pulled away, now it's, oh, we're gun shy. You know, oh, you get these picks for this moment, and then you fold on it. Like what? Which one is it? And this is why Leon Rose doesn't talk to you. This is why Leon Rose doesn't talk to the media at all. This is why he is selective in speaking to even the fan base and allowing us to see these interviews. Because when you're in a position that is high stressed, and there is no brighter stage than the stage of MSG and the New York Knicks and the New York market, when you are in that position and you have a fan base that is so vocal and that is so knowledgeable and that is so engaged and involved, and when we see, no matter what your record is, that in the media they still make time to talk about the New York Knicks, there's a level of pressure that comes with being in that position. And if you constantly have your ears open to everyone else's opinion of what you should do in a role that feeds your family, you could be easily swayed if you allow people to feel as if they have a say or some input on decisions that you have to make, that you have to either take credit for or take the fall for. And you wonder why he doesn't make himself available. Knicks fans, we could be emotional. And we're emotional now. Check Twitter. Check some of these lives that are going on. People are tight. All right? And leading up into this point, depending on what day, some people were like, yeah, send out whoever we need to send out, you know, because we need to get Donovan Mitchell. Other people were just like, you know what, you know, our young players, we need to run with those cats, give them an opportunity. Even up until today, with that information coming out, whether it's false or not, because Cam Reddish went on Twitter and was just like, yo, on my birthday, cats are lying, making up, you know, tales. Well, when there's smoke, there's fire. And you know the man wants to play. And you know that he hears his name. All of those players heard their name. These are young players under the spotlight of Madison Square Garden in New York City. I wonder how they're going to respond. I wonder how they're going to respond to us fans. Because this is the social media generation. So they see all of that. Us saying, oh yeah, you can take IQ. Oh, you know what? Let's get Obi out of here. Julius is somewhere saying, see, I told you, man. They'll love you today. They'll hate you tomorrow. So we just got to be mindful of all that. But I want to go back to the point of New York having a reputation of we're not going to be fleeced. We're not going to be taken advantage of. You ain't going to muscle us. You are not little bro me. This is exactly what Leon Rose said. I don't know who you think you're talking to. My name is not Isaiah Thomas. My name is not Steve Mills. You will not young bro me, bro. I represent Madison Square Garden. And I have value that I'm giving to you. You covet what it is that I have. You're just being greedy. You're just being greedy. So if that's what it is, I told you what my offer is, I'm walking away. That's something Pat Riley would have done. Dave Checketts pulled off some moves where he got Charles Smith in here, etc. That's something he would have done. New York is reclaiming their spot back as shrewd negotiators. We just got to be patient. And I already hear fans saying, you know what? We're always talking patience. We've been patient. It's been 25 years. Yeah, but we haven't made moves like this. We haven't had a front office move as strategically as this. We haven't had a front office really position us to be in a spot where we can get in on discussions for a star such as Donovan Mitchell in a long time. And we're here now. New York used to be known and hated. The evil empire was the evil empire for the New York Yankees because of George Steinbrenner. I'm not afraid to spin. Now, many of you might be like, "Well, you've been a hypocrite. You're contradicting yourself because George Steinbrenner would have paid whatever." Well, we got a salary cap. There was no salary cap in baseball. But what it is him being able to say, "Look, this is what it is." At the end of the day, our Steinbrenner move would be, all right, we didn't get him in a trade, but the moment he becomes a free agent, do you want to come to us? And by then, we'll have seen if some of our young players developed. We'll have seen if we've made moves to kind of push out carbon copy type of players to make space for him, or players that will take away from him really being his true self in an offense. Because if he would have got here and we would still have Julius, then there would still be a lot of questions. A lot of analysts would talk about, you know what, is this, how is this going to work? You got a lineup of lefties. This doesn't move the needle. All of that has already been said. So that's one thing. I love the fact that we've shown people we ain't going to be little bro. You ain't just going to throw something out there and be like, yo, I know y'all desperate. I know this is what y'all want. Because that's the narrative they keep pushing. Oh, New York wants stars. They're a desperate organization. And on the flip side, when we don't make it happen, oh, you know what? Y'all froze. Okay? Y'all didn't want to make it, y'all didn't want to make it happen. Those young players aren't really going to turn into nothing. You chose those young players over. Come on, man. The narrative will never stop. It'll always be something new, whether it's the move we make or we don't make. It's always going to be criticism. And that's what I need the Knicks fans to know.
We ain't playing with, this is New York. This what these niggas want, right?
Go ahead, cowboy. You got mad squabbles, boy.